everyone, today I'm going to be working on neutral fall decor. These plastic bowl pumpkins were so fun and simple to create. Let's go ahead and get started on the medium round one. What you'll need for this design is 2 of these bowls from Dollar General, or you can use the ones from Dollar Tree. These measure about 9 inches. I'm going to be using a birch log piece, some raffia, some of the wired jute cord, some leaves, some of that rosemary greenery that I found, and some of these wired lights. Now I'm going to be using the white wax on this design and the fawn chalk paint. And of course you'll need some super glue to glue your bowls together. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just super glue the bowls together, and I let these dry a couple hours. But before that, I did take a baby wipe and went around the outside edge there and just cleaned up that extra super glue. Now the first thing I'm going to do is take that fawn chalk paint and just put a thick layer of that all over the bowls. And once you get your bowl covered really well with the fawn chalk paint, you're going to want to dry it really well before you put the next layer of the white wax on. Now here's how I got the hole in the top of the plastic bowls. I just used my wood burner for that. Now I am going to go ahead and just put that layer of fawn chalk paint on that small little pumpkin so they can both be drying. Now I'm going to take a wet sponge on the small one, and I'm just going to rub off some of the paint so those embossed flowers will show up, and you'll see how pretty this one turns out. It's the second DIY. Now for the round medium pumpkin bowl, I did have to take my sanding block and sand some of that fawn paint off. I just couldn't get it to lift up with the sponge. And I think that was because where it was embossed on the small one, they were raised up a little bit more. But after you get these sanded down and wiped down till you pull up some of the paint, then you're going to want to kind of dry it off and dust off all of the little paint dust from there before you apply the white wax. Now to apply the white wax, I ended up just taking one of those little sponges that I purchased at Dollar Tree and just kind of dragging it down the sides of the pumpkin bowl until I got everything covered really well. Now once I got it covered really well with the white wax, I would take the back side of the sponge and then just kind of blend it in really well to get the excess off. And I love how this turned out. It kind of gave it a little bit of an iridescent type look, but once it dried, it was more of a matte finish. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the small little pumpkin. And I don't know about you, but I just love where they had that floral embossment in this one. I wished I could have found more of those bowls like that. You want to make sure that you dry these really well before we put the next coat of paint on. And you could have actually just left them the way they are if you like more of that kind of tan tone, but I decided to take some of the plaster chalk paint and I'm just going to drag some of that throughout and then just kind of blend it in a little bit. Now on the smaller pumpkin, I did end up blending that in with a baby wipe just to take some of the excess off. Now I'm just going to take my little piece of my birch log and just glue that to the top. Now we're going to start adding the embellishments to this one. Now the first thing I'm going to do is take some of that rosemary greenery. I just can't believe that I found these for 10 cents a piece at Walmart. If you missed my last video where I shared that, I got several bunches of these. They were marked down from the spring and summer decor and 10 cents a piece. What a great deal. But anyway, I'm going to take some of these little sprigs and I'm just going to glue them around the base of the stem. And I'm going to keep this design pretty simple. Then I'm just going to take some of the lighter colored leaves and just glue them to the top. And then I'm going to take some of that corded jute and just twirl it up and have little spirals coming out from the top of the pumpkin. Now I'm just going to add my little wired lights down through that hole that I made. And here's a picture of it when I turn the lights out, and you can see what it looks like lit up. Now for the second design is the small little pumpkin, and I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm just going to take one of those little birch log pieces, and this one was a little thinner because the pumpkin was smaller. And I'm going to keep this one a little bit simpler. I'm going to add some more of that rosemary greenery and then just a little bit of the raffia to this design. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I'm just going to add my little lights down through there. I did take a little dot of hot glue to hold this one down because the pumpkin was smaller. And here this one is all lit up. Now everyone, for our last large pumpkin bowl, I only found 2 of these bowls, and I really like the shape of this one. I thought it actually was shaped more like a big giant pumpkin, and I did find those at Dollar General. And this one I'm going to do in a little bit lighter color tone. I actually ended up at the end putting some of that fawn paint on there. Probably wished I wouldn't have done that because I really did like it more of this light color. I wish I would have left it right at this stage right here. But I may do the next one like that. But, you know, that's crafting. You try one thing. Some of them you like, some of them you don't. But anyway, the designs I love. I think they turned out great. And I hope that you have enjoyed these DIYs so far. If so, let me know in the comments below if you like the idea of taking the bowls and turning them into these pumpkins. And I think this would be a really fun and simple design to do in any color to match your own home decor. But I'm definitely going to make some more of these, I think, for my home, and I hope that I can find some more of these larger bowls to use. And this one is the same. I'm going to add a little bit of that greenery and some of that raffia to this one. And here's a picture of it when it's all lit up. Well, everyone, like I said, I hope you enjoyed today's DIY. If so, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next one.